Oh, thank you for you to take time out of your busy schedule for me to take this interview. Let's start.
Okay.
Here is the first question.
Okay.
Can you describe what you know about using persuasion or being persuasive?
Oh, this is a very interesting question. When I think of the persuasion or persuasive, you maybe to cooperate with somebody, some person, and maybe you and this person have some different views, and the goal of the persuasion is to change the other's opinions and to have cooperate with that person.
Okay, and second question is how often do you use persuasion?
Oh, usually every day because I like to make friends, and I think that I'm very easygoing. So many people are willing to talk to me and to have the help with their troubles. So I think maybe every day.
Okay, and cool. What strategy of persuasion do you use most often?
Oh, let me think. A very famous person said that the persuasion or the patterns represents appealing to the emotion of the audience, and the Alice feeling that's already reset in them. So patterns is a communication technique used most often in some special systems. So patterns have its role in politics as well. So, primarily in speech and how to persuasion the audience. And another person said that pattern is direct link with an audience. Audience is collective subject of speakers. Speakers which an author tied to being passed by own argumentation, and that similarly to the person discuss how they effective utilize pattern in rehearsals. The way in which one appealing to the reader is similar in appealing to one audience of voters. In the case of the politics and the publications, it is primarily more in argumentative writing and speaking. And so it's quite difficult to describe, but I think you know what I mean.
Okay.
Right.
And what do you do when you find a person or audience difficult to persuade?
The normal circumstance, my strategy will vary from person to person. So I have a high chance of persuasion others successfully. If I really encounter someone who is difficult to get, sometimes I will even give up persuading her or him, because I'm too lazy to waste my time in this kind of person.
Okay. Could you describe a situation in which you used persuasion to achieve a goal?
Let me think. Maybe recently I just persuade my friends, and he like a girl, so I just persuade him to chase that girl because I think he have the chance to have a good relation with that girl.
Yes. So what's the strategy do you use in this persuasion?
Okay.
Invoking his emotion or?
Yeah. To evoke the emotion and to give him brave to have this brave to talk with that girl and do something. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And what do you think it is the most difficult part in persuading others?
The hardest part is that the strategy is not fixed. I have to learn to use multiple strategy to deal with different person, because different person have different personality, and use different strategies and sometimes use multiple strategies together.
Okay, and the final question is, how are you best persuaded?
Let me think. In general, I have a person who is more emotional than rational. So when I'm in trouble, I have to persuade it and get it by others. And I think other person will give me some very useful advice. So that my emotions naturally reason and vent.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for you to take time out of the busy schedule to let's get start the interview. Here is the first question. Can you describe what you know about using persuasion or being persuasive?
For me, I think the persuasion is like using speaking or using body language to deliver the message and try to let others to accept your opinions.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, how often do you use persuasion?
Actually, it depends. Most of them, I will accept others' decisions. I only persuade others when I feel necessary.
Okay, that's fine. And then, what strategies of persuasion do you use most often?
When talking about the strategy, I think the logic is the most important thing. Because I like to play a social game, it's called the Wolf Kills. This game is very practical to exercise logical thinking ability of people. So I also develop a personality that like to use a rigorous logic to persuade others.
Okay, and what do you do when you find a person or audience difficult to persuade?
I will try to communicate with him, try to know more about him, and go along with him. And in this way, I think it's pretty easier for me to understand the point he really cares about. And so, as to the persuade him, I think.
Yes, okay. Could you describe a situation in which you used persuasion to achieve a goal?
For me, I try to persuade my roommate to get the fitness, and I think it's not very difficult because I try to tell about him the benefits of the fitness. I think he really knew about that, so he accept my persuasion.
Okay, and what do you think is the most difficult part in persuading others?
I think the most difficult thing is to change a person's thoughts. Sometimes it's not very easy to use the logic to persuade others' thinking. So you have to put yourself into others' side to try to understand what's going on here.
Okay, let's go to the last question. How are you best persuaded?
In general, because I am a rational person, so when I'm in trouble, I still hope that others will let me out of the troubles through the logic and convincing reasons.
Okay, that's all questions. Thank you very much.
That's fine.